Welcome, guys, to another episode of Nerds for Life SuperCoach. I am your host, Peter, and we have a big episode coming up. As, let's be honest, we've hit the fan when... Let's start that again. I'm not even going to edit that out. That was just shit. The shit has hit the fan when it comes to cash generation. So we are going to have to start looking at other options. And I know I wasn't here last week, but I did bring in someone to assist with that. Or a couple of players to assist with that last week. I made 3 trades. I brought in Pedler, I brought in Clark, and I brought in Mr. Callum Mills, who scored a 107. After Roberts was out due to illness. And that's a pretty good start. I know that he did not play. Oh, so he's not going to play this week. But it was all part of the plan because Roberts was going to miss this week. Anyway, so before we kick off with the show, please make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify. Give us a follow on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X as well. It's Nerds for Life SuperCoach. So it's Nerds the number 4 Life SC, because that's where I post all my updates, whether they're trade scenarios, whether they're injuries, subs, all that kind of stuff throughout the week. It's all on there, so you can keep up to date with everything. And yeah, you know, sometimes a sub vest, actually a little announcement about 5 minutes before the game starts, can really save your week. So do make sure to check us a follow. Also, the Insight F Sports community. I do contribute quite a bit there. Make sure that if you can, so sign up to their Patreon. You get news reviews, news updates. You also have a lot of player analysis, like things that, you know, players that you could trade in that we talk about, I write about. It's usually in their Patreon. If you sign up using the code NERDS, NERDS, you will support us as well as them, of course. You'll find the link in the description below. Check them out as well. So, let's start with the group winner. So, I've gone to... Let's take a look. Where... Oh my god, game day. Let's see. I had an okay week, considering I had 2 Premos sitting on my bench. Let's take a look. See all teams. Why won't you... Round 14 score. Why won't you tell me that? I think it's... Maybe I go to leagues. I think I do this every week, and somehow I continue to forget. Points scored. Round 13. We've got Cheffing Around by Adrian, who scored 2,233. That's a pretty good score. Overall rank is 811th. Who did he have? He took Cherries VC. Obviously, that was a great pick. He's got Smith, Martin, Petrarca, Daniel, Rankin, Warner, DeConning still. Yeah, that ruck line of Cherry, Gorn, DeConning's insane. He's held Oliver. He's got a pretty good midfield. He was smart and held Chera when I was not. Had Roberts as well, and Naish, Wangani, Malera. So he scored that with those 2 outs, but his team was pretty much... And he had Sarong out too. Did have 3 Primos out, actually, so pretty good score considering. And then I didn't see, because we didn't have an episode last week, who won last week's points scored was... Not that one. Round 12 was Satisfaction by Jake, 2051 as well. Congratulations too. So they're the last 2 group winners as well. He VC'd Mary. He captained Anderson that week. So, pretty good team there too. So, they're the 2 big scorers from the last 2 games, or the last 2 rounds in the Open League. There's 617 people in that league. Currently, total score, we've got Gorn Fishing, who is sitting 3rd overall. Wow, with 29,300 points. He's gone fishing. I just want to take a look. I want to see what his team is. So he's got Whitfield, Rosie, Zorko, Sheasel, Brock, Clark. Oh, he's also got Sinclair and Clark. Oh my god. What a mid... He's already finished his back line, and he's got Sandy Brock and Angus Clark on the bench. So he's got cash generation on the bench. He's got Bont, Brayshaw, Dawson, Holmes, Chera, Dacos, Dunkley, Sarong as his midfield. So his midfield's done, while Hall, Hustwaite, and Camporelli are on his bench. He's got Cherry, Gorn, and TDK as his 3 rucks. Smith, Petrarca, Warner, Rankin as his main Premo forward line. He's got Elijah Hewitt, who's still pumping out some decent scores, as his F5 currently. He's got Gross, Gray, and Simpson to finish off his forward line. So he's got some cash there to finish off that forward line too. Holy shit. No wonder you're sitting third. My God, that is a really good team. That is a fucking amazing team. See, if I did all the right decisions, this is what my team would look like. Holy shit. Okay, I can see why you're third. That is amazing. I think he's been number one. Every time I open the Nerds for Life Open League, I see him at the top, Mitch's team at the top. So I wonder if he's a listener of this show. If he's a listener of this show, he probably wouldn't be as highly ranked. Because I have made some putrid rookie choices this year. So I actually think the main reason that my team is so bad is because of the rookie decisions that I have made this year. I've just got no cash. So I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to my trade-in targets, unfortunately, which is really annoying because Butters would be obviously the best choice this week. But I'm not getting Butters because I need money for Butters. And I don't want to get rid of McAuliffe because McAuliffe was someone that I wanted to get rid of originally at this point. But he's scoring better than some of my Primos. Like, McAuliffe has scored only 1 point behind Neil and 4 points behind Nick Dacos. And he scored a whopping 9 points ahead of LDU. I'm not trading this guy out. He's actually turned out to be a guy that I'm probably going to hold for at least another couple of weeks. Scores of 96, 97, 74, and 91. Like, he is playing some really good footy. So he's already made 115k, basically. He's playing some really good footy. And the thing is, he's actually number 2. I believe he was number 2. I'm just going to double check this. I believe he was number 2 in CBAs last week for Richmond. I think it was. CBA attendance advance, CBAs. He was, he was number 2. So he was actually, he attended 13 CBAs, just behind Tim Taranto and the equal amount to Prestia, and he had the more than Jacob Hopper. I believe the week before, so this is when Prestia came back, so this was the concerning round, but he actually had 15 CBA attendances that week, which is lower than Taranto, Hopper, and Prestia, but still was number 4. So it looks like his role has not diminished. If anything, it's actually looking pretty good still. Just hold him. Hold him for a bit longer. Hold him for another 2-3 weeks. If you've got him, if you've done, if you've jumped on, you've done great. He's probably going to keep pumping out 80s and 90s. He'll be my last trade out at this stage. This is what my team looks like currently if I was to be, no buys. Okay, so my defense is Sinclair, Clark, Whitfield, Rosie, Sheasel, Mills. And then my midfield is Brayshaw, Dawson, Neil, Dacos, LDU, yuck, McAuliffe, and then I've currently got 2 rookies in there. But that is before I make trades this week, okay? That is before I make trades this week. I am going to have another midfielder come in, and I'll show you what my trade moves are. I'm going to talk about some rookie options that we could trade down to, as well as a couple of value Premo picks that I think are really good targets this week, okay? Then we've got my ruck combination of Cherry Gorn. Can't get much better than that. I wish that I had TDK still, but I have Rowan Marshall. Bailey Smith, Petrarca, Horn Francis is back this week. Chad Warner, Yuck, Rankin, and Caleb Daniel finish off my forward line. I've got some cash generators on my bench at the moment still. We've got Pedler. Campbell Gray, unfortunately, is injured, and he is most likely out long term, which is not amazing. And my back line is really, I just don't have much when it comes to cash generation outside of Pedler and Angus Clark, but I am going to bring in a couple of rookies. And as I said, we've got some targets this week. We've got some decent Bubble Boy targets. and I'm going to tell you who they are. I mean, you could probably scroll down to here and you could probably see a couple of them, but there is one that's not appearing here, and I'm a bit surprised that he's not appearing here, and we're going to talk about him in a moment. Actually, let's talk about him now. So we're going to talk about rookies, all right? So we're going to go down to players. These are the top 3 rookies to bring in this week. Okay, top 3. Let's go down to sort by lowest price. And we have... Where is he? I lost him. Well, look, I know that a lot of people are considering bringing in Tom McCarthy. Okay? Already in 3.1% of teams. He's $99,000. He's a defensive mid. He's a mature age body. He will most likely make his debut, you'd think, this week with at West Coast. However, he hasn't played a game. He just hasn't played a game yet, all right, of AFL level. You can wait. You can wait. There's no rush when it comes to bringing in someone like this. There's no rush, okay? Because we don't know what role he's going to play. He could be sub. We actually don't know what role he's going to play. Yes, he's an inexperienced body player, but he's never played AFL before. We saw with Riley Bice, his first game was sub, right? There's a good chance that this mature age player gets a similar treatment. You know, we saw with Sean Manor last year. It took him a few games to get up and going. He was sub as well. I just don't see him coming in, getting all of the CBAs or having a primary halfback role. I just don't see it yet. I can see him being eased in. I think that he's a great option. I really do. But unless you desperately need... Like, if you can't do your upgrade without getting a 99k player, like, if you can't afford anyone, he's obviously the best 99k player that you can pick, obviously, for so many reasons. But maybe just wait a bit, okay? Maybe just wait a bit. If you can, wait a bit. Then we scroll down. The best rookie. So this is the number 1 rookie pick for me this week, and that is Zach Johnson. Scored 84 last week. He's on his bubble. He's already in 3.4% of teams as well. He's got a negative 65 break even. Negative 65. Has scored... Where is he? Where's his stats? There he is. He's gone 48 and 84 in his last 2 games. So that 84 is going to be in his 3-round price cycle. You want the 84 to be his second game. You don't want it to be his first game. That's going to be in his price cycle for the next couple of weeks. Okay? He's also got Richmond in a few weeks' time, which... Their forward line's fucking disgusting. It is actually probably the worst forward line in the AFL. What's sad is they've probably got the worst midfield in the AFL, which is nuts considering Dion Prestia is a triple premiership player and he's still their best. They're still their best midfielder, despite us paying a ridiculous amount for Jacob Hopper and Tim Taranto. I don't understand how Richmond were absolutely destroyed in the centre bounce clearances. I mean, Grundy had an amazing game. Yes, that took a big... Yeah, that was a big... played a big part, but holy crap. Like, Nankervis is the captain. He's a triple premiership player. He came second in the best and fairest last year. He's arguably probably coming first in the best and fairest this year. And he got absolutely destroyed. And that midfield is not that inexperienced. It's really not. Those 3 should be able to win their fair share of clearances. It's pretty... You know, I can't believe how much money they've wasted. Anyway, I've ranted. I digress. I'm sorry. Let's not rant about why Richmond's bad. Zach Johnson is with Essendon's injury list in defence. He's a midfielder in SuperCoach, but he is playing in defence. I think that he's a good option. He should be your number 1 trade down target. He should make some cash. Okay. Definitely a number 1 trade in target. He is coming into my side this week. And yes, that does mean that I have another Essendon defender or Essendon player in my team. And not that I like too many Essendon players in my team, but it is what it is. The next rookie. Now, this is not the rookie that I think he's an option, but he's not high on my radar right now. He's got a break even of 67, so I wouldn't be picking him this week. I'd be picking him next week. That's Bo Allen. He's scored a 36, a 3, and a 0 as the unused sub. He's been sub pretty much every game. Hasn't played at all. He's not in their... I don't think he's in their best 22. And I think McCarthy might actually push him out of the team. He's got DPP. If he plays, he's going to drop cash to 99k, so he's a next week target, so I wouldn't be considering him at all this week. So as I said, Zach Johnson's number 1. Where is this guy? I'm just trying to find him. He's coming up. Hugh Jackson. This is number 2. So this is my number 2 trade-in target. He's got a negative 10 break-even, so that's fairly decent. He's 119k. He's a midfielder for Port Adelaide. He's scored a 23 and a 58. He's on the bubble. Okay, he should make some cash, but his job security is a bit shaky. I'm actually going to put him to number 3. I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to put him to number 3. And there is a reason for that, because I just think that there is someone that's a little bit better, and he's only $1,000. No, he's only $100 more, and that is Ted Cloese. And I'm going to tell you why I think that he's a better target. The reason is he has played 9 AFL games this season. 9. Which means that he's actually either in their best side or just outside their best side. Yes, he's been sub most games, but actually playing football is sometimes important. His worst score is a 2. Okay? Obviously sub-affected. He's also scored a 7. But he's also scored an 84 and a 71 when he does get full games. I know that a 2 or a 14 or a 7 or a 20, they're not great scores, but as we get towards the end of the season and we start to run out of trades, sometimes a 20 is better than a 0. And I don't expect to make cash from Cloese. I just expect him to be a green dot on my bench. Pretty much the same role that Archer Day Wicks is playing. He's just a green dot at the moment. I'm hoping that his scores will never be in my side, but I don't hate this pick because the reality is what's his name? I can't even remember his name. Hugh Jackson might not even play. His role on the side is not guaranteed, while a Ted Cloese, at least you know that he's thereabouts. He's thereabouts. And it just takes one injury for him to get a full game. The reason he got a full game was most likely because of Bailey Smith missing. Another injury and he plays a full game and he actually looks alright. He might get subbed on early. He's got a negative 7 break even as well, so he should, in theory, still make a bit of cash. He's made $100 for the year. It just is what it is. I think that he's a buy at this point. So, if it was me, I think that they're the 3 or 4 trade down targets. Zach Johnson. Is that Johnson? Is that his last name? Yeah, Zach Johnson, number 1. Ted Cloese, number 2. Jackson. Hugh Jackson, number 3. And then Tom McCarthy, number 4. If you can't get to the other guys. There's a reason why 4,319 coaches have brought in Ted Cloese. It's not to make money. It's just because he keeps playing. And he's got DPP. And he's got a favourable draw coming up. So it's actually not too bad. And the thing is, if you can put him in your midfield, you've got a lot of rotation. I'm most likely actually jumping on Ted Cloese and Zach Johnson this week as my 2 trade down targets. While my trade in is going to be someone, I'm going to mention it. Now, there are 3 Primos that I am looking at this week. Or, technically there are 4. Actually, there are 4 really good Primos this week. Now, the number 1, and already 19,671 coaches have brought him in this week, and that is Mr. Zach Butters, who has a break even of 90. He's 563k, and he's most likely going to be at his cheapest this week. Originally, I was going to try to bring him in. He was the plan. However, unfortunately, I can't get him in without trading at McAuliffe. Originally, I was going to do this. I'll show you my trade. Originally, I was going to do... Not that one. Where am I? Originally, I was going to do Clay Hall out, McAuliffe out, Zach Johnson in, Zach Butters in. But McAuliffe is actually currently playing some good footy. So, I'm thinking of maybe holding out on Butters. I think that paying up for Butters is fine, but it does mean that I'll have 2 rookies on my field still. Okay? If I was to trade in another player using, scraping the minimal amount of cash these shitty rookies have made me, I actually will only have 1 rookie on field plus McAuliffe, who's scoring decently. So it's like 1.5 rookies on field, really. And that is much better than having 2 rookies on field, because most likely that rookie score isn't going to count towards my best 22 anyway by week's end. So that's okay. It significantly strengthens my side by not going Zach Butters. Yet, I'll obviously look at trying to get Butters later. It's just that it just doesn't work for me right now. Okay? It just doesn't work for me right now. However, he is the number 1 trade in target for a reason. He should hit that. He should hit his break even at 90. But I just want to make sure that you're aware, he scored 131 last time, 98, and then, fucking hell, 184 in 2023. But that was a couple of years ago. in his breakout year. Melbourne are doing more of a tagging job this year with Ed Langdon, who kept Nick Dacos to a 95. If Langdon was to lock down on Butters again, it's possible that he only scores about 100, 110, maybe goes 120. That's fine. He's still going to be in the 500k mark next week. So you can still get him next week as well, if you need. Okay? So he's going to be a buy for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Unless he goes 180 or something, like drops a 180 on us, he's going to be a buy for the next couple of weeks. So you can hold off if you can't get to him. I've seen some trades where guys are trading out Bailey Smith to get to him. And I don't think that's intelligent. I don't think that's an intelligent move. People are trading out Lockie Neal to get to him. I don't think that that's a wise decision either. I just think that, yes, he's a must-have, but don't destroy. You want your team to be better at the end of the buys than what you went into the buys with. If you're just doing a bunch of sideways trades and then you end up with the same amount of Primos, you haven't actually strengthened your team. So don't buy him if it means that you are going to trade out a Premo to get to him, is what I'm trying to say. The other player that I think is absolutely right for the picking is Wanganeen Malera. 74 break even. This guy was in my side all pre-season up until 10 minutes before his first game in round 1, where I decided to go with the cheaper Matt Roberts, and I have regretted it every week since that point. He's got a 74 break even. He's 507k. Apart from the injury-affected 63 that he scored in round 10, which is why his price is so low, he has gone 96, 113, 110, 123, 133, 99, 111, 97, 103, 126, and 100. And he's got a really good draw coming up to finish the season. Okay, he's got North Melbourne and Richmond in your SuperCoach final series day, and Essendon as well. Oh my god. Okay, so you want him in your team. I do want him in my team. I actually think that he's a great trade-in target. Okay? And people are probably forgetting about him a little bit. The only issue is, once again, I would have to absolutely destroy my team to get him. I would have to trade away McAuliffe. And I still think that Wanganeen Malera will be a buy in a couple of weeks at 550k. Still. Both Butters and Malera, you could wait a week or 2 if it's better for your side to do so. Okay? I wouldn't be getting rid of players early like a McAuliffe just to jump on one of those guys, because yes, McAuliffe still has money to make, but he's still scoring well enough. You could cop an injury. LDU might cop an injury. Maybe I can go sideways from LDU to Wanganeen Malera next week. We don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, and I would rather have Primos on my field than these rookies who are either not playing or being subbed or subbed every week. So I'm sick of the 37s, I'm sick of the 16s on field, I'm sick of those kind of scores. So we need to think about finishing our teams as best as possible and then trying to jump on the guys like Butters, Nasiah, Wanganeen, Malera. Now, we have cash mid-prices that could make some cash for us in the meantime and could score well. So similar how we jumped on McAuliffe, we have... Now, I'll talk about one first. Colby McKercher. $393,000, the break even at 25. Okay? He's just come off a massive 144 score against West Coast. But remember, this is West Coast that he played against. Prior to that, his best score was a 129 against Richmond. Once again, he played against Richmond and West Coast. Outside of that, his best score's an 80. And they're all a bunch of 50s and 40s and 60s. hasn't really set the world on fire. His last two of his last 3 games have been pretty solid, and he's got DPP, but has been playing on the wing. He's played 1 game in defence, and that was last week. 1 game he has played. There is no guarantee. I'm just going to see if Fisher been playing, actually? There's no guarantee that he's going to be playing halfback again. Okay? There are too many mouths to feed at North Melbourne at the moment. We have Harry Sheasel that's being rotated from the midfield to half forward. He's been thrown in defence as well. We have Caleb Daniel, who's still playing quite well in defence. And now we got Colby McKercher. Now, if Sheasel does stay in the midfield, and if you actually look at Sheasel's heat map, which I don't know why it doesn't work on the official AFL website, but if you were to go to Sheasel's, I'll show you on my phone. If you were to go to the official AFL website and you go to Harry Sheasel's heat map, he actually did spend a lot of time in defence, which is concerning. So I'll put it up towards the screen. That's Harry Sheasel for you. Spent a lot of time in defence, as well as midfield and pushing forward. He's kind of spent the time everywhere on the ground. And when he struggles in that midfield half-forward role, Clarko seems to just shove him into defence to get him the ball. And if that happens, it's great for Sheasel owners, but it's not great for McKercher owners. So if you have both, and I already have 4 North Melbourne players, and I absolutely despise that, I don't know if I want to have a 5th North Melbourne player in my team. Because they're not good. They're not a good team. I would like to see McKercher in that role 1 more week. A back-to-back role means that, yeah, he's going to do well. Now, if Colby McKercher was to stay in that role 1 more week, if he was to go 87, he would jump up 27k. If he was to go 100, if he was to go like 120, he's probably going to be about 420k next week. That's still a buy. But at least you've got 2 weeks worth of data in that role. Okay? So I could jump onto him next week, for example, if I really wanted to. And I think that's the better play. I think he's a wait and see. I don't think jumping on him at 4,432 coaches have already done it. That's great. Look, it's a risk. It might pay off. He might do really well. If he's got that role, I love it. Yes, we know what he can do in that role. But there's a massive if there. There's been no... At the time of me recording this, there has been no confirmation that he's got that role permanently moving forward, and that's what scares me. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with another player that's got that role instead, who has history of that role. And I'm going to show you what I'm probably going to do. And that is Mr. Sam Doherty. He is $403,000, only $6,000 more expensive. He's got a better draw coming up. He plays for a marginally better team. I only have to get rid of 3 rookies to get him. 3. Clay Hall, Payton, and Boxall. That's 3 dead rookies. Maybe Boxall plays, but I'm not concerned. 3 dead rookies to jump on Doherty. I won't be getting McCarthy. It'd be Cloese. I can get Cloese. And Zach Johnson. Okay, so I get 2 rookies that are actually playing that I want, plus Doherty in my team. And my team will be better overall. Because I'll have 1 less rookie on the field, and this is a guy that could average 100 for the rest of the season. I just want to... We know what Sam Doherty can do, but I am going to bring up his profile. He's 403k. He's got a break-even of 13, so he's going to hit that. Let's be honest. He's also got West Coast and North Melbourne coming up, and Collingwood, who don't tag defenders. Okay? They don't tag in general. So, halfbacks typically do well against the Pies. His first few games have not been great. But remember, he was playing in a completely different role. He was not playing this distributing role. The last 2 rounds that he has played, he scored 118 and 107. Okay? In a halfback distributing role. He has been getting a lot of the footy. He's not taking kick-ins, but he's getting a lot of the footy and he's using it well. In that role, he has historically scored over 100 points. Now, I'm going to show you 2024. Where is he? He didn't play. Oh, of course, he was injured last year. 2023 averaged 100 on basically 100 points on the dot. 100 points, 0.6. Okay, rotating from midfield, and he spent time in defense and time in the midfield. Okay. 2022, 109.6. 2021. 97.9. 2020, 92.3. 2019 didn't play due to injury. 2018 didn't play. 2017, 114.7. Okay, 108.7 if you go to 2016. Okay, that's quite far back. 2015, 87. But you see what I'm saying, right? He's currently priced at a 77 average. He's currently priced at a 77 average, 77.9 average. Okay, this is a guy that, if he was to average 97 points for the rest of the season, which is very realistic in this role, he's going to make 100k. He'll be a 500k player. Maybe that's how we make our cash generation. Maybe we bring in Doherty this week. He plays the next month for us, maybe month and a half, right? When he's got that good draw. West Coast, North Melbourne, hypothetically. He plays those games, makes 150k, 100k, 120k, whatever he makes. And then you've got a rookie like Angus Clark who's bubbled up. And then you trade Doherty out as your last trade with Clark to a Bontempelli. Maybe that's how we make our money. Maybe it's not through just the rookies. Maybe it's through these mid-prices that are fallen primos. He is a fallen primo, and in this role, he could be the guy. He could be your M8 by season's end. Definitely could be your M8 by season's end. And he's so cheap at the moment. Last week, the official SuperCoach podcast on Code Sports, the guys were talking about the Phantom and Dossie. They were talking about how Michael Voss and Doherty have had meetings, and he is going to be playing this role moving forward. If that's the case, which it appears to be, this guy could seriously be a 100 average player. There were a lot of guys jumping on Tom Stewart. I think it was last week. Similar kind of reasoning. I get it. And he's gone 103 and 111 in his last two games. Okay? Very similar role. Very similar role. Yes, he's a little bit, he's not playing for as good of a team, but they've got a really good draw coming up. I can't see him not turning up at least against North Melbourne and West Coast in whatever role he plays. He could literally play the ruck. It does not matter. West Coast are an absolute... They are the worst team in the AFL. They are barely an AFL side. So you should get a good score from him. I'm surprised not too many people own Doherty. The other thing is, I don't believe he's heavily owned at all. Already 471 coaches have traded him in. How many... Oh my, he's only in 930 teams currently. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is massive, massive POD territory. Massive POD territory. He doesn't even come up as a one. He doesn't even have a percentage. That's how many teams own him. He doesn't even come up at 1% yet. Okay? If I was to go to players and take a look, I just want to see... It's 403k. So if I was to go to... Sort by highest price. And if I was to go down... Keep scrolling. Sam Doherty. He's in 0.5% of teams. 0.5% of teams. That's nothing. That is nothing. That is so low. If Doherty goes out there and pumps out a 130 against West Coast, which is entirely possible, I just want to show you that Sheasel, where is it? Sheasel, McKercher, and Daniel all went 137, 124, and McKercher was 144 in similar roles. You could be... Imagine Doherty pumps out a 140 for you or a 130 for you, which is very much capable of doing. You've done very well. And then he plays North Melbourne next week, and he probably does it again. Probably goes 120 plus again next week. He has two big games. He can make 100k like that for you. You could trade him off. He could be the cash generator for you. I personally prefer Doherty over Colby McKercher right now. And I still might jump on Colby McKercher, but it'll be next week when I do so. I want to see one more game out there. One more game before I jump on. And if, he's got the role, great, 420k, I'll jump on. I'll definitely jump on. And I could put him in my midfield, and maybe I finish my midfield with Doherty and Colin McKercher, which is not what I expected, but it is, at least I'll be having some decent scores on field, still make some cash, and then upgrade them at the end of the year to Butters and Bond. My rant's over and I like it. The more I think about it, the more I like this trade. Alright, now, I've ranted on enough. Question time. Let's go to questions, alright? Now, I did post it today, so it is a little bit late. That's because I forgot. So, if my internet kicks in, so we'll go to X first. Let's take a look. Question time. No one said anything on X. But again, I did post this incredibly late today. Then we're going to go to question time on Facebook. We have 9 questions. Let's go. All comments. Troy Wendell. Is Oliver a keeper? Seems to be getting good numbers. Just need to clean up his disposals. I don't think he's a keeper anymore, I'm afraid. But he's definitely a hold. He'd be my last trade out. He's actually pulled together a couple of decent games. His last 3 games have been 99, 130, 58, 100. It's not too bad. He touches the 90s a lot. He's got a break even. What was his break even? His break even was 121, so he probably drops a bit of cash this week, but it shouldn't be too much. I would hold. You could hold him, and yeah, I would be upgrading him last to a Premo midfielder. The reason for that is he's got Gold Coast, who don't tag, coming up soon. Not this week, but after his bye. He's also got North Melbourne and West Coast coming up late too, so you could just in theory hold him for a little bit. He should hover around that price. I don't think he's a keeper. I reckon he's just a hold for now kind of player. Last trading. Reese Kennedy. What are we going to accept our final teams look like, considering I don't think we'll be able to get 23 spots Primos due to horrid rookie cash gen this year. My cash generation's actually been worse than most. I've taken a look at a lot of people, and I've missed out on guys like Max Hall from St Kilda. I've missed out on Connor O'Sullivan. I've missed out on Levi Ashcroft. I've missed out on Ryan Marrick. Okay? I know. That's horrible. Yep, I've missed out on those guys because I picked different players each of those weeks. So that means, and I've traded into Nathan O'Driscoll, Xavier Lindsay, and Cooper Simpson, and Campbell Gray, who all got injured basically after one price raise. So it has completely fucked my year up. Yet I'm still going to have 23 Primos by the end of the buys. It's just that we need to really think about the Primos we trade in. I have traded in one Primo at 600k this year, and that was Tristan Cherry. Only Primo that I've traded in this year. That is 600k. I have traded in 2 Primos at 530k this year, which were Nick Dacos and Jordan Dawson, both 530k. Oh, and Sinclair, so 3. Every other Primo has been in the 400k mark. LDU was in the 400k mark. Gross, but he was in the 400k mark. Bailey Smith, Christian Petrarca, Chad Warner, Rowan Marshall. 5 guys all in the 400ks. Oh, and Mills, 357. We need to finish our teams with guys like Mills, for example, unfortunately. Or maybe we look at Doherty. Maybe we look at Colby McKercher. We're probably going to finish our teams like that. I think that at a minimum, jumping on those kind of guys, you could jump off them to better players later with the minimal rookie cash generation we have. I can see myself turning McAuliffe into a Butters in a few weeks. I can do that. But I think that we need to jump on those guys, and we're probably going to finish our sides with a Colby McKercher or a Mills. Our 23rd player is probably going to be Mills. You know what I mean? It's not going to be gone. This year is not the year where we have the best 6 defenders, the best 8 midfielders, the best 3 ruckmen, and the best 6 forwards. It's not going to happen. We haven't had enough cash generation for it to happen. Unless you nailed every single one of your rookies. Like, I mean every single one of your rookies, every single one of your starting players. And that is the only way you're going to be able to finish your team. And I did not do that. Yeah, I missed out on Sandy Brock. That's another one that I missed out on. I jumped off Elijah Hewitt because he was injured and wasn't scoring well and was sub every week. And then as soon as I traded him, he went 100 plus. You know, I jumped off Lawler just before his 100 plus score. You know, it's just timing wasn't on my side, and I know that there are a lot of coaches out there where timing wasn't on your side. And if that's the case, you're going to have to finish your teams with those kind of guys who have the ability to still score hundreds for you. Seth Fuller trade outs. Roberts and C. Hall. Ins are Zach Johnson and Prestia. I will only have 1 to 3 DNPS. I don't know what DNPS is, but I don't like it. No, I don't like it at all. I think if you've held... I mean, Roberts out is fine, but Prestia... yeah, no, I don't like that at all. Prestia's not playing this week. It'd be next week. If you're going to do that, do it next week. Don't do it now. Grant William Fulks. Who should I trade out? Kako or Moraes? Who should I trade in? Zach Johnson or Hugh Jackson? Kako. Let's take a look. Kako, what is his... Why is it... There it is. God, he has been such a disappointment this year. He's got a 38 break even, which he might not even hit. Yuck, honestly. I believe I started him. I can't believe I started him. I didn't want him all preseason, and then I got him. Because he was so highly owned, I was like, I had FOMO, thinking, oh my god, if he pops off and I don't have him, I'm gonna look like an idiot. Instead, I jumped on him, and I look like an idiot. Anyway, so Kako's got a 38 break even. Moraes. 59 break even. And hasn't been scoring that. Sub-risk. Nah. Trade out Moraes. Kako also has DPP, and that could be handy as the season drags out. I'd be trading out Moraes. You get more money out of that too. Lulu, should we take a punt on players like Doherty, Mills, Prestia, Stewart, ECT, especially if we're low on cash and trades? Any preferences? Yeah, well, we've discussed that all episodes, so we know what my thoughts are on that. This week, Doherty is, I think, the better trade-in. He's cheaper than Stewart too. Mills and Prestia are for next week. I am definitely considering Prestia next week. It's probably going to be either Colby McKercher or Prestia next week. I need to get some PODs. Prestia's got a -1 break even. He's 426k, and his last two games are 132 and 121. Oh, that is juicy. That is juicy. He's got a great role. We know what he can do. I actually really like the Prestia pick, but again, next week. Mills is a priority next week. He has shown that he can play. His time on ground went from 68%, I think, in his first week to about 85%. So his time on ground went up. He did have Matt Roberts' role last week against the Tigers, and that's because Matt Roberts was missing. But his role will be halfback, inside midfielder when Roberts comes back, if Roberts comes back, because Mills actually looked really good in that role. Just my opinion, he actually looked a bit better than Roberts in that role. He looked way more composed. There's a world where maybe Bice isn't in the side anymore and it's Roberts and Mills off halfback, and I don't mind that at all. I think Mills is the #1 target next week. Presty, if you've already got Mills like me. Tim Patton, how many trades need to be left before SuperCoach finals? SuperCoach finals? I mean, it depends on how long your final series are. My main league final series has a prelim, a qualifying, a semi, a prelim, and a grand final. So it's got 4 weeks, right? So I would like to have at least, in my opinion, 4 trades at a minimum. 5 would be better. The reason being is because you can do a lot with those kind of trades. At that point in time, you're only really going to be trading out players that are injured or luxury trades right before your grand final or something like that. So It'd probably be 4 at a minimum. Docker McKercher as 23rd. I love both. You almost finished your team though. If this is your finishing team, look, I'm saying Doherty for now. McKercher, DPP is handy. It really is team dependent. If you've got 4 North Melbourne players, don't pick a 5th. North Melbourne is shit. They played West Coast. They looked really good against West Coast, okay? But only marginally won, alright? Just don't do it. I still prefer Doherty. I'm going to go Doherty on that one. And that's question time. So let's switch to captain choices for the week. We've got fixture. Come on. Alright, so Thursday. Bulldogs take on St Kilda. Bontempelli. Do I need to say more? If you've got Bontempelli and you've paid $680K for Bontempelli, put a VC on Bontempelli. That's what you paid for. Friday night, Adelaide versus Hawthorn. I don't like anyone from this game at all. There is a tag risk. Adelaide look really good. You might be able to put on Jordan Dawson a VC. I don't think he's the best option though. I mean, how has his last few games? No, his last 3 games have been a 55, 78, and 80 against the Hawks. Holy shit! Don't put a VC on him. I don't like anyone from this game. Saturday, Brisbane take on the Giants. I like any of the Brisbane midfielders because the Giants still have a lot of injuries, though I think Callahan is back. Callahan's another interesting one. Callahan could be an interesting pick, actually, next week. How about Callahan? I just want to see Finn Cannon. Oh, no, he's still pretty expensive. Nah, I wouldn't bring him in. But he's scoring so good. He'd be a big POD on the way home. Massive POD on the way home. Anyway. I've seen some people bringing in Tom Green. I do like Tom Green because Brisbane don't tag. But also anyone from Brisbane. Hugh McCluggage. Definitely if you've got Hugh McCluggage. Essendon take on Geelong. Essendon are actually kind of restrictive to midfielders. They score well against Essendon, but they're not the big 150, 160 pop-offs. So I think Bailey Smith and Holmes do well. I just don't think they go captain worthy. North Melbourne take on Fremantle, and this is personally where I'm going to be putting my VC. It's not Tristan Cherry because I don't think Tristan Cherry has a good record against Freo. He's only played him once and he scored 108. So it's not great. It's not great. I wouldn't be doing that, especially if they've got Darcy back, which it looks like they will have. So he'll have to go up against 2 ruckmen. I think that the obvious pick here would be at Brayshaw. So my VC is going to Brayshaw, definitely, averaging 122 for the season. I'd be jumping on him. Then, honestly, the best captain choices come the next game. They really do. Okay, I don't necessarily like Butters against Melbourne because they could tag him, but I really do like Max Gawn against. I mean, if they don't have Jordan Sweet back and they've got that Visitini guy back playing, my God, Max Gawn could go 200 against him. Honestly, it's nuts. If you've got, I don't have it, but if you've got both Max Gawn and TDK, I am not against you putting a VC on Max Gawn and then putting a C on TDK because I think they're the 2 best captaincy options this week. I really do. I think they're the 2 best captaincy picks this week. I don't have TDK anymore and I'm spewing I didn't. Last week, my VC was Tristan Cherry and my C was Max Gawn. So you can do it. Right, they play 3 hours apart, so you can, in theory, do this. Obviously using a buy player as your loop. So I really like that. I think that's the play if you've got both of those players. I don't. So if Brayshaw doesn't absolutely pop off for me, and I mean a big score, I'm probably going to... I might even just straight out put a C on Max Gawn in this game, honestly. I think that he goes massive. So, I honestly, if Brayshaw doesn't score at least 130 against North Melbourne, which he probably will, but if he doesn't, then I'm probably just going to put a C on Max Gawn. That's how confident I am in Max Gawn having a good game. Anyway, that is me for the week. Please make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Also give us a follow on our socials on X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, however you're watching this. And I'll be back same time, same place next week. Thanks, guys.